Hey everyone, it's Jack again with Toy Dojo, and today we're taking a look at the Yes Model YM07 Seeker Jet. Now, this Seeker Jet is the translucent purple one, so I don't know if they were who they were trying to knock off. I mean, obviously they're knocking off one of the Seeker Jets because that's what they've done, but which character, I'm not sure. So look at the box, it's their standard cardboard boxes, Yes Model YM, and then insert whatever number they are at right there. Take the box out of the way, and there is the glorious, beautiful, translucent purple Seeker Jet right there, with everything translucent. So you got translucent missile pods right here that come with it. You got a translucent Megatron gun that comes with it, and all this stuff still comes off. So you can pull this piece off right here. You can take this off, take that off, and it's all translucent. So really cool. On this one though, this piece here is loose, so like that. For some strange reason. Not sure why. So when it goes on to Megatron, like this, that falls down like that. And really can't put it the other way to fix it because it won't really sit right. It kind of sits up like that, so that's not the way it's supposed to be, obviously. So maybe it's just this one here, bad QC issue on this one. But you know, there it is. Comes with a little purple holder for the Megatron gun that you can put underneath here for the Seeker mold. Then it comes with a translucent purple Pilot and a translucent purple Dark Archival. So try saying that 20 times fast. Translucent, or just purple Pilot, purple Pilot, purple Pilot. I already messed up and I only said it 3 times. So there you go. It comes with that. Then it comes with a sticker sheet of Decepticon logos right there. So really neat for the wings, and then for the top area there. So got that. That's cool. Get that off to the side here, and let's just focus in on this. So there is the jet mode, and it looks great. The purple, I don't know how well it's picking up camera. It kind of makes it look like it's a solid purple, but it's actually translucent purple. Nice Decepticon logo right there. Let's see if we can get that there. Yeah, right there at the bottom. Really nice. We'll show it when I take the display stand off. Just looking at him. Everything on it is translucent purple, with the exception of like the ball joint areas, the knee joints, the arm joints, all those kind of things. Anywhere where there's going to be a lot of movement and stuff, it's not translucent, but everything else is translucent on it, so it's really cool. So again, I don't know what character they were going to try and knock off here. I don't know if they were giving us maybe the other Rainmaker. I think his name was Hot Link, but he was like a solid color purple, not translucent. Or maybe they're giving us like the ghost of Skywarp. Or my favorite way to think is that maybe they're saying, hey, in the 86 cartoon, there was always a who became Cyclonus. Was it Bombshell or was it Skywarp? And so there's a scene whenever they're translating or they are being reformatted, he kind of goes, Skywarp goes into this almost translucent purple color for like a quick second before he gets reformatted into who I think was Cyclonus, because it makes sense seeing as how Thundercracker became Scourge, and then the 2 remaining Insecticons became the Sweeps. And so it only makes sense that Bombshell, being the Insecticon, would become like the little minion guy, and Skywarp would become Cyclonus. But that's what I think. And so we know that like whenever they were making that cartoon, they never drew anything right. They would always draw Decepticon logos on Autobots and vice versa. Sometimes robots were this small when they're supposed to be this big, and sometimes they were this big when they were supposed to be this big. So I'm thinking the reason a lot of fans say it was Bombshell is because Bombshell was in the front in that scene, and Skywarp was in the back. But again, I think that was just a drawing error. I think they meant him to be the main one, but who knows? That's an argument for another video. So anyways, let's go ahead and just take this off real quick and look at the stand. So it's got a translucent purple holder there, and then a translucent plastic stand right here with, again, that nice Decepticon logo right there. Looks really neat. Cool clear sand. You can see right now, you can see my fingers in the back, just how translucent it is. So really neat. And let's take a look at him as far as in his jet mode. So plug that in there. The null rays are like the light purple color right there. These feet right here are a light purple color. The forearms are the light purple color right here. The hands are the light purple. And you'll see it better whenever he's in his robot mode. Those are the light purple. Back here too, his going to be his shins, or rather his shins, his heel spurs are also that light purple. So, but the other stuff that's translucent is more of a darker purple. So it's really cool. I mean, look at that. Look at the wings. You can see right through them. So really cool. The only thing that has paint, there's only 2 paint apps. And that's this paint app, or 2 sets I should say. This purple, this white, and that purple and white. So just that, aside from that, there's no paint apps on this thing except for those right there. But I don't think it needs it. I think that looks cool as it is. I say there's not, but like, so this die cast is painted purple. But I mean, obviously because they wanted to follow suit with the rest of that. So this opens up like that. You still flip this out like this. Like this. And then you got this whole die cast piece here, which is silver. So I'm lying, there's another paint right there. So silver, purple, and then translucent purple tires. Over here, these are translucent purple tires as well. Right there and right there. So you can see that. It's really just cool looking purple. Nose cone is translucent purple. And that still opens up. And even this little radar dish there is a translucent purple. So really cool. The brake, air brake back here, also translucent purple. Of course, you got the die cast there on that. So everything on here is done up that way. Looks really neat. I love it. I think it looks great. If you're somebody that loves to have your trend, like if you've been collecting anything translucent, the translucent prime, etc., this would be worth to pick up. Even if you just like the Seekers, this is worth one to pick up, I think. I do like the Seeker mold. I think the Seeker jet looks cool, and I think the robot mode looks good. I'm just not a fan of the transformation all that much. As simple as it is, it's a little finicky at times. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into transformation of this guy. So I'm not going to talk a whole lot about the transformation because I'm sure you guys have seen this numerous times. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you have this mold in one form or fashion, be it a Hasbro, Takara, or maybe one of the S model ones. And so we've seen this mold a lot of times. I'm not really going to talk a whole lot through it. There's only one thing I want to point out. If you're not familiar with the S model, obviously they're doing KOs of the Seeker molds, but they did something that made it, and I always hate this part because like you gotta get this thing slid up. And every time I do that, I end up like scraping my finger. I'm gonna be very careful so I don't scrape my finger on this one. And I'm still gonna do it, watch. Now the one thing I will say, before I get into what I was talking about, is I'm always worried about picking up any figure that's like a translucent plastic. Simply because I feel like that plastic is not as sturdy as a regular plastic. But I don't feel that way with this one here. I don't feel like this one is going to be breaking on you. Just because it seems like it's a solid piece. And the plastic itself feels good quality, even though it is, like I said, that translucent color. So let's get his head out of there. Yeah, I'll deal with that in a minute. Pick these up, pull these to the side here, get these out of the way. Come down here, come on. And so, one thing I'm excited for, and we'll see when I can bring that to you guys, but I should be getting a somewhat early look at, and then make sure we always look these up because that's forgotten a lot, a somewhat early look at the Titans Return Trypticon. So I hope so, and if so, it's going to be awesome. I'm not sure exactly when I'll get it, but I think I'm going to be getting an earlier one, and we can take a look at that. I saw a review where the reviewer was saying that the hips, so the legs rather, are breaking. The ratchets on there are breaking because that they weren't meant to go. I think it was backwards. They were only meant to go forward, and so when he was doing it, that they broke, and so. But he figured out a way to fix it, kind of. And so that's one thing I always hated, was getting this head through here. It's always such a pain in the butt to get that through. I'll mess with that a little bit anyways. Gotta get this clear out of the way anyways first. So, but anyway, so he mentioned how that was a problem, and so when I take a look at it, I'm gonna see how that is, and I don't plan on messing with the hips on it or the legs to make it do that. So hopefully that's not an issue. But he made it to where he can have the legs go forward and backwards, so that way he gets full range of motion, I guess, on those legs. And so when I get to take a look at that, I'm going to be looking at that as well. And I'm just going to get that out, because that's one of the things I always didn't like, was that these things always popped off. A lot of things always popped off on this mold. And so, you know, it wasn't like my favoritist, like I said, transformation. So, okay, before we go any further, the one thing I want to point out is, and you can see there's some paint chipping there, but that's because that's got to peg into the side up here, or down there whenever it transforms. But so one of the issues with the original Seeker mold was this. So like, if I'm going to get, this is my Hasbro version of, what's his name? Acid Storm. So like, you pick him up and you shake him, and that happens. It comes undone. So the reason why, if you look at that, you can see that that peg back there is relatively small compared to the one that the S model did. So theirs is, they made theirs, that peg there bigger, so that way it sits into that slot. And I'll show you where it pegs into when we get it up there. But so that's one of the things that they fixed, and that I can appreciate, because again, that was an issue, and it always bugged me whenever I would do that. And I never figured it out, and then I didn't know at first when I first got them. I was like, man, why does it keep doing that? I thought that one of these screws up here was loose or something like that, but that wasn't it. It's because it didn't peg in well. And so I was like, oh, so when I saw my first Yes model and I messed with it, and I noticed that it was pegging in well, I was like, man, awesome, right on. So, and then that's why, because they fixed that. So that's one of the cool things I like about the Yes model versions. And then two, they're not overly expensive like the way some of these guys have been, as far as the official ones. So, and the quality is just as good, if not better, than the officials. So I know there's some of you that don't like to collect KOs, and you're very much against it, and that's fine. But for those of us that don't mind collecting it, you know how well this piece is put together. So let's get all this stuff done. Come on, taking too much time transforming this darn guy. All right, now let me get his head. I've always just hated getting the head through that little spot, even though this thing closes up. It never was always fun for me. So let me get that. There we go. Get that through. Pull all this stuff through like this. You can get all this transformed around. Pull this through. Slide that in. And let me get this done here. Flip that up. Fold that down like that. Close that up. So okay, so that piece right there, that is where the peg that I was talking about is going to go. It's going to go right inside that slot right there. And so on the official ones, it wasn't long enough, so Yes model made it longer, so that way when you slide that down, it's going to fit right inside there. So let me show what I mean. Let me fix these arms real quick, just to get them transformed properly. Come on. Pull that around like that. Let's do this, okay. And so when you come down here, you take that and you want to make sure that that just slides right inside that little groove right there. So you want to have it situated just so. I'll peg these in. So one thing I remember when I first got this, or not this one, but the actual Seeker mold, I never really knew about those pegs until I think I saw a review of it, and I was like, oh, and that's before I was doing reviews. And I was like, oh wow, I didn't know that that pegs in like that. So okay, so that goes right there. You can see where that peg's about to slide in right there. So you slide that in, and that's going to hold that in place there, so you don't get that. You don't get that floppiness, or it's just not going to come unpegged right there at the waist. So that's neat. Okay, let me just finish fixing them up here. Get that down and around. Like that. And get the other one put back on. Do you guys like the Seeker mold? like 100%, like without any issues? Or do you guys think that it's time for them to redo the Seeker mold and give us a better one? Because I think it is. I think this one's kind of outdated. And I'm talking about, well, a third party that would actually do a great MP Seeker mold, or Hasbro Takara if they can do an actual good-looking Seeker mold that's not all floppy and messy and all that stuff. I think it's time for them to redo it. But then that means we'd have to buy them all over again. So I don't know how I feel about that either. So I zoomed in way too much. Alright, so there we go. So there he is, transformed up. And he's good looking robot mode. Again, the robot mode is nothing new, but the colors. I like the translucent purple. It just really pops. Looks very neat. Again, the hands are translucent purple. These here are light translucent. I should say light because it's all translucent, but a light color. So like a pinkish purple, if you will. This right here, the forearms, the thighs, these shin guards, the feet, the heels. They're all that light purplish pink color. Everything else is a darker purple translucent. And the face still looks cool in purple. Looks really neat. I think it looks really, really neat. Like I said, the only things that aren't really translucent are going to be parts like this, the knees right there, up here on the shoulders. Anywhere where you're going to have to do a lot of movement, it's not going to be translucent because then it gives it more apt to break, I would assume, or get stress marks. So, but he still holds all the same posability. Nothing has changed. It's still, like I said, it's still going to be the exact same everything, with the exception of the colors and the plastic. But like I said, the plastic quality, I don't feel like it's horrible. I feel like it's a really good plastic quality that they've done with this, and I like it. So, and before we go, I'm going to put him in with his other jets. So you got Sunstorm there, Acid Storm, got Thundercracker. Let's get all these guys in the back. Thundercracker, and then Starscream. Now all of mine are the Hasbro versions, as far as like these guys here. So again, you can see just how he looks the exact same, with the exception of the colors. So I dig the color. I dig the color scheme. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think it's something you're gonna want to pick up, or do you guys think that nah, it's not for me? Well, let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm going to put a link in the description to where you can order him from if you want to order him up. And until next time, you guys, thanks for watching and stay safe.